Hey, welcome back to Happy Little Note Trees. Today we're going to talk about skin tones, some tips, tricks, and possibly the myth about them. Let's just get going. Right now we're looking at this image right here, lady in a bathtub. So bright, decent skin. Right out of the gate, we have our basic look set up, a little bit of contour, shaping some contrast and things like that. We're running through OpenDRT. I know it says JP249, but I changed my mind. But like what tool I use to check skin tones all the time is this from MonoNodes. This isn't sponsored. This is just the tool I use because it's simple, it's easy. It instantly tells you where on the vector scope, on that vector of color, where does the skin tones in this image lie. And so it pretty much draws right on where you want to set the general point, so you can actually move it around to pick where that vector is for you. And then you can change some of the other features of how it deviated from it, so it's actually tracking, is it going more green or is it going more red? So once you've put this node up as a checker tool, you can go back under to where you're color balancing. Now let's just reset that. And not that button, there we go. And all we're doing is in our color balance node right now, we can start to shape. You can see we're pushing her more red by going away from that green color. And we can just kind of push things around. We can even push her a little bit far if we wanted. But just because there's no window and no control, we are affecting the global image, which at a baseline level, when we're looking at a skin tone and we're worried about the main focus image of the image being the person, if we want the skin tone to be right, we can then work around that with power windows and things later. But getting the skin tone right out of the gate with just your first color balance node works great. And then you can come back, turn it off, and you can see how it's affected the whole image under the look that you were developing over here. So the diagnostic tool right at the end kind of gives you that whole ability to see what's going on. Now, I know MonoNodes, it's actually a very cheap tool for what it does, very easy, and has a whole pack of different things that I use all the time. But the other thing to note is you can do a skin check for free by just bringing in a color generator as your last node, like so. And set it up. You can set it up as a power grade just so you don't have to do this. It can be anything in the vein of white. You can see there's nothing on our vector scope. Just pick middle gray because that's nice. That's what every highlight mode goes to. And then just drop a window and flippity flop it. And take off the softness, shrink down the size to what you're targeting, and drag that around to point on the skin. So the thing about MonoNodes is, and other tools like that kind of give you that view, you can see the whole image and how your tools are affecting it. Whereas this, we're now looking at only one little part of her skin. And our color balance, you can see how on the vector scope it affects that. So it pretty much shuts down what the vector scope sees at this point, and you're able to kind of just draw in and shape that skin tone to get it right on that line. So that's the free way to do it, but you do lose the aspect of being able to see everything that's going on in your image the whole time you're doing it. But easy power grade, drop one node, a color generator, set to the color you want with a window that you just bloop, 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 put where you want, and you can instantly see on your scopes what's there. The other thing to note is the question of skin tone is, we have this line on the vector scope that gives us an indicator. We have these tools that give us an indicator of hue, but the myth, and everyone's like, you can do that. And this is where you get into the idea of color theory, and what things exist in space, time, and the time continuum around that, how we visually view things. So if we just go over to, bring up my LUTs over here, this is a LUT that I've been working on for a while. I'll just drag that and plop it up. Oh, and there you go. And we'll go back and turn this one off right there. So this is my Nosferatu 1922 inspired color tone LUT for doing a 1922 styled silent, black and white silent film that was tinted to be Twilight. The thing about this image is, if we look at the vector scope and take a look at it, there is nothing in this image that on the screen is any color but a pinkish hue. So when you think about that, what do we do with that? And what is hue then? If we turn on this and our skin tone check, you can see it's saying on the screen that the bathtub is currently skin tone. Her skin is technically in the vein of skin tone. The wall is in skin tone. The vector scope is just off center. It has a nice little curly coil, rounds around. It's not a perfect straight line like it would be in the original, just because I wanted a little variation, a little color separation. We can go over here. This is a color balance when I was playing around with it earlier, and now we just dropped it. And we go back and turn on our skin check. This adjustment, and all we did was pull gain down and pull offset down, because she was super magenta. You can see if we reset that, she's super magenta. We're just using the offset wheel to in linear, to aggressively pull that entire image down. And now her skin tone is correct, right? Makes total sense. That's what it's. We're dead center on the skin tone. But if you look at this image, she don't look right. That don't look like skin. So skin is one of those things that's it's a memory color. That's what we think about. It's what we remember. But right now on the vector scope, her skin is dead center on where it should be on the line. And we can do that. And we go, oh, so her skin tone is skin tone, but everything else around it has made her seem like she is a pink monster with that green in the background, because we've encoded in our brains that what skin should look like. But because of everything else in the image, we've broken that. So even though she is skin, it does not look that way. And the other thing that we can talk about is, if we turn that color balance node off, put it back to being Nosferatu, and this is how color memory works. If you look at those leaves in the background, I know for a fact that there is no green in this image. That's how this look was developed. But if you stare at those leaves long enough, you'll start to realize that those leaves in the background, are, in fact, you'll begin to believe in your mind's eye that those leaves are green. So there's that. I see green, but there's studies done where if the same color gray is in two different images, one on a donkey and one on a leaf, but the other colors around it are all about the same, and it's the same gray, your brain will conform the leaf to be green. So that's what's happening with skin. If we turn this LUT back off, no LUT selected. Skin is a memory color, and so when you're shaping things and you're moving things, break the rules, because it doesn't need to be right on that line. It doesn't need to be perfect, because what you do around it is going to make huge impacts on the image We just drop a power window. Oh, I got to turn that back on for you guys. Let's see. Show viewer window outline. Window outline on. There we go. So you can see on the window, just draw on the window. And we're going to just draw like a nice little softness. So we know her skin tone's nice where it's B, but we're going to drop everything around it. So one of the tricks is to, we got that, and then we want to hit tools. Flip flop. And so it's bringing depth back into the image. So if with this power window, all we did was kind of vignette and bring down the rounded exposure, your eye is drawn to her, she has more pop and stands off of it. And your brain is going to, because she is close to skin tone, and there isn't, like we had with the LUT, tons of things causing breakage and making you think that doesn't even look like the right color skin tone because of everything around it. You can begin to steer things around in such a way that, oops, not do that. That if we start putting some blues in the background, you're going to get even more pop because there is this, her skin tone is reddish, and if you separate blue and red in such a way, it begins to make a three-dimensional image. There's a really cool trick to the mind, but yeah, it's just doing subtle things that you can kind of start to even get more separation. You can create that whole essence where even if her skin tone was super pushed in a different way, and we could see very magenta now, where we started. She was green, and we've pushed her very magenta. We can even push, I think, a little bit harder in the shadows of her, and she's currently not falling in the vein of skin tone. But we can turn that off. There's nothing. So our skin tone checker, which was telling us where she is on the skin tone line, didn't exist. Is on right now, but she's not on that line at all. And you can see on our vector scope, we are way off the chart of things. And you can see we're still not, but by drawing down the background and pulling things in those shadows back around, so we're not affecting her right now because we've got that window on, and we can kind of just reshape how that looks. Turn that on and off. Her skin does not live. Did I turn that window off on this one? Yeah, I could. I'll just put that back. And this will be the last little demo before we're out for the day. And I actually go back to work doing real things. So if we just zero in, and this is one of the reasons why I like having this is nice, because you can instantly see, and that's why I had that off, was so that, because the window online so you can see it on the screen, it's gonna pippity pop it over there. So you can see where she is. That skin that we started with on the skin tone line is due north. But I would hazard to guess that despite that, if you stare at this image long enough, just like the Nosferatu one, your brain's gonna regulate and begin to believe that that is normal, that's normal skin tone. So that skin tone vector line, it's a myth. I truly believe you would be perfectly fine with this image. Like, is it the best grade? Probably not. We just kind of worked by the seat of our pants to kind of prove a point that her skin is due north on the vector scope, but because of what we did off here on the sides, oops, not that one, where we've pulled out and put more blue back into the image, and kind of started to shape things around her, she feels more like she is a normalized skin tone. Anyways, those are some tips, tricks to mastering and getting skin looking perfectly. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, do all those other YouTube things. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, which will probably be pointed at right here for you to view. Ta-ta for now.